Alrighty, fellas, what's good? Hey, Cannon, I won't forget the intro to this video, and I also won't forget the pre-worky talks. I know last video, I kind of shanked that, but hey, listen, we're back with a new one, new vid, new me, new gains to chase. We're gonna be hitting some chests and buys today, so world's best lift right there. That's like literally, that's why I like putting it on Wednesday, because it gets you over the hump of the week. Today's also Wednesday, fellas. So it gets you over the hump of the week. And I'm not gonna lie, get over the weekend. I mean, I'll just say it right now, you guys seen us get over under 175, and I will say, yesterday when I weighed on the scale after leg day, I weighed the same thing. So obviously on the weekend I put water weight kicks back on, and I won't lie, I do fall off track a little bit with the diet, but it's the weekend. I work hard on the weekends to throw the weekends away, not necessarily throw them away, but you know what I mean. You're allowed cheats. It's not like I got a goal where this cut needs to be done at a certain time. I got time, as long as it's done before summer. That's summer starts. I mean, we're here in Buffalo. I'm back in my overalls again, fellas. So we're rocking with that. Where you are, so we'll unplug that. But either way, the cut's going good, guys. We're at sub 175 is what I was getting at. So starting at 192. Don't get me wrong, it definitely felt a lot harder putting the weight on than it has been taking it off. But implementing that, I'm not gonna lie, the lifts have strength and endurance is what I like to say. So I still got the strength, but it's not like I can do 10 reps at the same strength. I gotta kick it back a little bit. I could do 7, but it does, the strength is definitely at this rate, at this point, has gone down a little bit, but not too much, not too bad. So that's good. We're looking great. Just working on, for the most part, you guys will see it, but we're trying to, my big goal right now is just trying to get that 6-pack to pop out. That's when I know, in my eyes, the cut is basically completed, is once I can see the complete 6-pack. It's there, but it's not all the way there, so we're getting there. But it's week 8, fellas, so we're pretty deep into this. So what should we be expecting now? Is exactly what we're getting at. We're right on track, I feel like, and I can't complain with the progress in that sense. So I'll catch you guys at the gym when I get there for some pre-worky talks. Alrighty, fellas, I may have forgot pre-worky talks, but I technically didn't, because I'm in the gym. Just forgot to do it in the truck. But either way, don't matter. Also, I didn't have much to say anyways, that's why I kind of forgot. But I'm gonna throw up right here somewhere. I'll throw up my daily intake for when I'm eating and everything, because I've actually just started tracking my macros, believe it or not. But figured it took me this long. But hey, better late than never. But that's what I'm eating in a daily routine, at least during the weeks. We kind of veer off that on the weekends a little bit, but it is what it is, fellas. Let's get this chest day rocking. Alrighty, fellas, so we got coming in here is some incline dumbbell press, 3 sets of 10. I'm not gonna lie, at least starting off for the the lift, I came in with feeling some good power. For the most part, with my dumbbells throughout the whole cut, I've maybe gone down 10 pounds max, 5 pounds in dumbbells. I won't lie, when I do get to the last set, sometimes I have to drop the weight, and I'll just pick up 40s and just pump out a few reps. I just go until I can't. Honestly, I'll max out, and it honestly sets the tone for the lift. I'm not even gonna lie. That's the one thing, now that we've been over the wrist little problems since powerlifting and falling and slipping on ice. I'm back to doing these dumbbells and free weights a little bit more often. It's definitely been utilizing them a lot more, just because I love it. I love everything about dumbbells and using free weights. I'm not gonna lie, I do love the machines. They have their purpose, but whenever I get to use the free weights, it's a good day in my mind. we come over here, we got hammer curls, 10 and 10 each arm, or 20 in total, whatever way you want to count. Then we come over here, we got our decline chest press, lower chest press, whatever you want to call it. 3 sets of 12. Right there was just me. That's one thing right there, that little pause in the middle of the set. It wasn't because of fatigue. It was actually because I felt my elbows flare out, and I stopped before I pushed all the way through, just so I was doing the right form through and through. That's the one thing, too, I've been doing, making sure form has been on point, feeling the muscles stretch every time, not just when, I'm in the mood to. Like, I'm making sure everything's been real and proper, especially, it's all part of bodybuilding. I'm not just trying to put up weight no more. Like, that's another thing. We come over here on the preacher curls. We got 7, 7, 7. 7 real close, 7 mid-range, and then 7 full range of motion. And man, that's like going through the blender, honestly. That's why it's like I can't even believe I waited till like middle of my workout to do that. Usually I try and hammer that rate out, but whatever. Then we come over here on the pec deck or flies. 3 sets of 10 with a 10-second hold at the end. This is another one too. Now that I'm focusing more on form, like I said. Not much to weight and just feeling the muscles stretch. Obviously I've always should have been focusing on form, but like in my mind when I get into powerlifting, for some reason I fell into a few bad habits. It's not that I didn't have proper form, but one thing I did with that is I lowered the seat a little bit more, so now I'm a little bit higher up with my flies. And I've been feeling a lot better of a stretch. Excuse me, a little hiccup. Then we got our bicep pull downs here. 3 sets of 10 with on the descend a 3-second count. Like I said, like not only the cut's getting everything thrown at it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like honestly, like I'm throwing everything out of my bag of tricks right now. With the weight being a little bit lower, I think usually on the bulk I was doing 220 on this machine right today. I was doing 160. Usually I do 180 just for reps, but because I was doing the 3-second hold, I dropped the weight a little bit further. And I'm not gonna lie, it is the day after, hitting chest, and I just hit my back and tries, and I was feeling it all throughout my lift and throughout my day. You know what I mean? So we were hitting it right. That's when Now we come over here. We got our upper chest press, slash shoulders. Thrown in there. But the way I sit in the seat, I kick my butt a little bit forward there, so it's really hitting my upper chest. A little bit of shoulders though too, like I said. But 3 sets of 10 with that 3-second hold on the descend, just like we did on the bicep pull downs. Especially towards the tail end of my lift, I'm trying to get the most out of it. That's why I'm doing the 3-second holds, because the weight ain't as high as like the other ones were. That's why I dropped the weight, focus on the form, make sure we're feeling the muscles, and get that time under tension now that I'm getting that fatigue. And you already know, pump chick baby, you already, let's get it. I'm not gonna lie, biceps were flaming. I hit them hard on Monday, feel all around, but damn, need a little breaky break. We're just gonna plug that for a minute. Either way, here we go. Yeah, I know I've said like 3 or 4 videos ago that I was gonna get a haircut, but made progress to that. Not at all. A lot of progress in the gym though. Been working on this one. Oh my god, I seen that. That looked hard. I don't know if I like doing that, but it looks hard. looking great, getting that V taper. Still got a little bit more work I feel like to do, but definitely starting to see the definition come through. But you know, little tries in there too, never hurt. Damn. Ooh. One more log one. Oh man, I can't. All right, fellas, let's go get some cardio. Let's get it. All right, fellas, that's a wrap on today's lift. I'm not even gonna lie, that was a fire one, man. Freaking feeling swole, looking ripped. Literally, that core was popping. I was gonna hit another second pose down after cardio, but you know, kind of got a little distracted talking, and I'm like, oh, it's time to get out of here. So you know, we'll leave that for another time. But hey, freaking, I say give me 2 more weeks, and we're gonna be like a freak. Like I can't even lie. Like, you know, I thought honestly I was gonna start feeling like shit by this time in the cut, but you know, just because, you know, you're so deep into the cut, you know, you're full form of like being, you know, when you're full, not full, but like I'm full, but like, you know, filled out and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But honestly, it doesn't even matter, because freaking, like, I'm low-key at this point just maintaining strength. Like, I lost a little bit at the beginning, but like, I feel like I'm back to normal in a sense, you know, like I'm not going back in any way, but like, I feel like, you know, give me 2 weeks and it will be you know, we're already in a good spot, but give me 2 more weeks and I think I'll be like around 170, you know, and it's gonna get filthy. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's gonna get filthy. It's gonna get filthy. I'm just thinking about it. Like, I was looking at myself back just when I was hitting cardio, and I'm like, okay. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the camera a lot of times don't do justice. You know, sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's the angle, but like when I'm seeing myself pose in the mirror, it's like a different beast, like on another level. I don't know. I just feel like I've never looked this good in my life. You know, and that's, I guess, it fuels the fire more. You know what I mean? Because like, at first I really didn't know how long I wanted to take this cut, but you know, now I'm going all the way. Like, you know, I've kind of had that in my mind for a little while now, like for like the past 2 weeks of I'm going all the way, not like stage prep, whatever, but like, you know, all the way in the sense of until I get that 6-pack and whatever, like a little bit more, you know, then we're chilling. But like, what? You're out of jurisdiction, young man. Either way, sorry. You know, we're going all the way, is what I'm saying. And I'm just so far alive. Sorry, either way. So happy, you know what I mean? Like, with the progress, like, honestly, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know if I ever want to bulk again. Realistically, I am. You know I am. But, you know, in a sense, like, I can rock the cut. Like, honestly, for a while, I was gonna go from cutting and just right back into bulking, you know, but it's gonna be summertime coming up here. Like, I'm gonna just stay ripped for a little while. And I can't maintain, you know, very low body weight, you know what I mean, for a while, but like, you know, we're gonna maintain it for a few weeks, that's for damn sure. Like, we don't work all hard, you know, probably not bulk up, but like go to like a, you know, a maintenance level to where almost like, what do they call it, I think stage prep, like, you know, where like if I had to get on stage, like I'd be ready, but at the same time, like I'm still looking good. I think that, you know, it's just like before you take it all away type thing. But either way, you know, that's a few more weeks. Right now we're looking at the now, and it's like, man, there's just, and that's the thing, every honestly, the gym's almost, because like, you know, you have your highs and lows with the gym, and it's like, I was, for, you know, towards like, I would say almost like ever since I hit 315, I was like, I don't know, I just don't feel like I'm going to the gym to go to the gym. Like, there's no point about it. Like, I'm never not going to go to the gym. But it's like, you know, it just felt like I was going through the motions in a sense, and it's not like my drive was there like I always, always like to be. I mean, obviously, your highs and lows, like it's part of life. But like now, like I'm low key addicted again. Like it feels like I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing I think of. I still got a whole 8-hour shift ahead of me, at work and stuff. And it's like, even towards the tail end of work, you think I'd be tired, but no, I'm so fired up and driven right now to like keep going and, want to get better. You know what I mean? Like just more ripped and everything. And it's like, it's literally the drive is like an addiction. Like, don't get me wrong, I know the boundaries of the cut. Like, I'm not trying to get anorexic or anything, but like in the sense, like I can't wait to make more progress every day. Like that type shit. Like it's like, I don't know. Sorry, I just hope you guys get a good vibe off what I'm putting out. And it's like something to take away, because like when you have that feeling, I feel like it's like something that rubs off in a great way. Like, everyone, like I got a buddy that's cutting at the same time. We're doing the same time. He started 2 weeks after me, but he kind of made his cut a lot harder on himself than it should have been, because he wants to get done before all his college buddies get back, which I get. You know what I mean? Like when I was in college, man, once everyone was back in town, we got crazy. You know what I mean? So I understand that. So you have to get things done before that date. You know what I mean? But like at the same time, I'm far from that. But at the, anyways, sorry, I'm not even gonna comment. I just seen something. Either way, back to what I was saying. I'm doing this literally. I got an extended timeline. I can get done whenever. But like the fact that I'm doing it alongside someone too, and we're talking, it's like a brotherhood. You know what I mean? There's another guy in there too. You know what I mean? But like he ain't like us. You know what I mean? Like we're on another level. Like we've been doing it. We're there every day. He's there 6 days a week. I'm there 5 days a week. Don't get me wrong. You guys know I mess around on the weekend. I can't keep weights out of my hand. But like at the same time, man, it's just, that also brings more fuel to the fire. Just having someone alongside, like having the same goals as you and admirations. Too big of words. I don't even know what that means. It just sounded good. Either way, it is beautiful time to be alive. That's all I can say. Like it is literally. But fellers, I'm gonna get home, and this is the funny thing. You think at this point I'd be sick and tired of chicken and rice, but I look forward to come home and eat my chicken and rice. I do, honestly. That's the thing. I've been eating the same food for 8 weeks straight, literally to a T, at least during the week. And it's like, I look forward to eat every little bit of food I get. I mean, I think that's also a part because, you just want food in general on the cut, but like, still, feeling good, feeling great, and I just want to keep getting better, Not gonna lie, it's been great, and I don't, and that's another thing too. I will say too, one thing I wanted to throw in here besides just the feel good part, a lot, as I'm along through with the cut as well, I've realized too how, like, when I was bulking and trying to put up big weight and stuff like that, how much I went away from, or how many bad habits I fell into as well, just trying to push weight. Like instead of just focusing on just getting the muscle hit and stuff, like sometimes I fell into just trying to move the weight. Like, don't get me wrong, but like no joint pain or anything like that, so it wasn't like I was just trying to use my joints and stuff like that to push weight. But like, I wasn't hitting the muscles like I should have when I was on the bulk. And that's one self-realization I've had since I'm on the cut. Because it's like, you're not trying to push weight. You're just trying to work the muscle. You ain't got to put up the biggest weight. It's all about just the feeling the weight and getting, a nice deep tear on the, on the muscles. Just feeling them stretching, all that lactic acid building up and shit. But, for the most part, this cut has bring a lot to me and showed a lot to me, like there's that possibilities are endless, you know what I mean, and a lot of self-reflection and realization too at the same point, and that's the beauty in it, especially now that, like I said, 8 weeks into it, I definitely see myself at least cutting for another 2 more weeks going ahead here, just looking into the future. But who knows? Maybe we'll take another week. Maybe, I'm definitely doing 2 more weeks. I know they out of the cut, but possibilities are endless at this point, fellas. And it's that feel good, and I know that I'm riding high right now, but at the same time, man, does it feel good? Especially when you feel like you've been in the depths, you know what I mean, for so long. Because like January, don't get me wrong, it was middle of winter. January, February, it's always tough, especially with work and shit, working outside. But like at the same time, summer's on the verge. We're getting lean, ripped. Like, how does it not get better than that? Beats me. But I'll throw my chicken and rice in here, fellas. But if you made it this far, please leave a like, subscribe. I appreciate it. Love it, support, like everything. You guys been killing it. I appreciate it. Honestly, it's like, like that's another thing. What a time to be alive, man. Like getting lean, getting ripped, and you guys have just been showing so much love too. And it's like, it's almost surreal. Like honestly. Sorry, I'm just kind of taking it in, like in a sense, like reflecting right now, honestly, as I talk about it. I do reflect on it, when, I see the stuff, because I'm not always watching, the view counts or anything like that. I try and respond to comments as fast as possible when I see them, and respond to as many as I can. Obviously, it's not like I'm over flooded, but, like, I try and do my best. I'm just out here solo YOLO, you know what I mean? But either way, fella, I don't want to keep yapping or anything, just that feel good shit, I could go all day. But I'm gonna throw my chicken and rice in the vid. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, stay hustling, stay grinding, stay focused. Peace out. See you guys in the next one.